This is He's Redeeming Love, and this is chapter 89. This chapter is called Some Visions of Mine. Years ago, it's not in chronological order, in order of the book, but I thought I'd include some of the visions I've had because people like to hear those sort of things. One time I was at home and I was thinking of the time when I was sleeping with prostitutes. It was still back when I was sleeping with prostitutes, so that's why I said this is out of order, because at this stage in the book I've already given up, but this is back before I'd given up prostitutes. I was on the toilet and I had a song playing from Hillsong Music, and it sang, the chorus sang, I could sing of your love forever, I could sing of your love forever, and it just keeps on going, I could sing of your love forever. And chorus keeps on going with that line. And I was praying to Jesus, and I said, I could sing of your love forever, Jesus. And he said, I could sing it to you. And next time the chorus came, I heard Jesus singing the song. And I was crying, and I couldn't believe he'd sing that song about me. And I said, that's amazing. And he said, one day I'm going to sing that song in front of the hosts of heaven. I'm going to sing that song and dedicate it to you. And I thought that was going to be when I died. And 2 weeks later, I was getting counselled by a prophetic person, and they said I was going to see something in my mind. And I straight away saw myself in heaven, and Jesus was standing opposite me. And the counsellor asked, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in heaven." And he was shocked. And Jesus he said, "Tell me what Jesus is doing." I said, "He's giving me a robe." And he said, "That's good." And I said, "He's given me a signet ring." And that was good. He put the ring on my finger, and he put a crown on my head. And I was thinking I was the prodigal son, so I didn't tell the counsellor everything. And the counsellor said, "So what is Jesus doing now?" He said, and I said, "Jesus is saying, come and meet my Father." And I hesitated at that time. And the counsellor said, "Why?" And I said, "I don't feel worthy." And the counsellor said, "Jesus has got you by the hand, and you are worthy, because if you weren't worthy, he wouldn't be asking you." And I still didn't go. And the counsellor said, "Why are you going now?" And I said, "I feel scared." And he said, "Well, nothing's going to hurt you. Jesus has got your hand. You're going to be okay." And so I entered through these throne room doors, and I entered the throne room, and as I entered, a sea of people parted, and me and Jesus walked up the middle of the throne room through the people. And as I walked up, I fell over about 8 times. I think the number for new beginnings was 8. And I got to the front, and I heard the Father say, "Come up here." And I walked right up to the throne. It was up some stairs. And I sat down on Jesus' throne. And the Father said, "Have a look here." And I looked, and he opened the roof of the throne room, and Kat Kerr says she's never seen the roof, but I saw the roof open, and I saw planets really close to heaven, and it looked like it was right in the middle of a galaxy. And there seemed to be planets about 100 miles from heaven, but gravity wasn't sucking them in. And I saw the galaxy amazingly, saw all these stars, and it was amazing, and they were moving as I was watching them. And the Father said to me, "See all of this, Matthew?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I control all of this." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I could grab one of these planets and stars and send it down to Earth, and that would be the end of Earth." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't you think if I can control all of this, don't you think I can control your life?" And I started crying, and I said, "Yes, I believe you could." And he said, "Well, let me control it." And then Jesus looked like he got a microphone, and he said to the people in the throne room and the angels, I'm going to dedicate this song to Matthew. And he started to sing the chorus of the song I'd heard 2 weeks before, I Could Sing of Your Love Forever. And you can only hear what your mind can remember, and I only remember the chorus. And Jesus sang the chorus to to the people in the throne room, and I was quite emotional. And then different saints from the Bible started to walk up and stand in front of me, and I'd get a name, and I'd tell the counsellor the name of the saint, and then the counsellor was saying, this is a sign of honour, that Jesus is honouring you with famous saints from the Bible. Abraham came up, and a few other saints. Elijah came up. John the Baptist came up. And the final person to come up was Joseph. And he stood there and didn't move away. And the counsellor said, what colour is the robe that Jesus gave you? And I said, white. He said, no, I don't think it's white. Have a look down. And I had a look down in the vision, and it was the coat of many colours. And once again I filled up with tears because the coat of many colours was a sign of promise. It was given to the favourite son, and it was a gift from Abraham, and it really stirred me emotionally. And I walked out of the throne room that day with the coat of many colours as my robe of righteousness. So that was my first vision of the throne room. Another time I was writing an email to a girl, and I was explaining heaven, and I was taken to this wall in heaven. I think it's in heaven, and there was a wall, and Jesus said, take one of the stones out of the wall, Matthew. And I took a stone out, and it was a diamond, and it was as big as a soccer ball, and it was really shiny and stuff, and bright, and reflected the light well. And God the Father said to me that the stone I had in my hand could fund the US government for 200 years. And that was a really expensive stone, you know. Earth couldn't afford to buy it. And the wall was made up hundreds of feet high, and it went off into some glory mist. And so I didn't know how long the wall was, but it was made up of these diamonds. And the Father said, see how big the wall is? And I said, yeah. He said, and that stone's worth 200 years of US government funding. And I said, yeah. He said, that's what money means to us up here, Matthew. And that had a profound effect on me at that time, that money didn't mean anything to God, and expense and riches didn't mean anything to God. And I'm not sure if you capture that in this book when you read this, but it had a tremendous effect on me. Another vision of heaven I had was one day I went to heaven, and I was confronted with a whole park full of children, and they were doing handstands and playing skipping rope, and there was carousels on the park, and it was all green grass, and the kids were all playing. This girl called Natalie came up to me and said hello, and I said, how do you know my name? And she said, I play with your child when he's having dreams. I used to play with your child when he was young, and I got to know him, and I used to show him your life. And I said, that's amazing, and it was really sweet to meet her. And I was looking at all the children, and there was no adults, and I was fearing. And Jesus said, there's no child molesters up here, Matthew. The children are safe, and the children play better without adult supervision. And I thought that was true, that we always play a bit fiercer when there's no adults around. And besides, they're in heaven, they can't really break their arm or anything. So I Natalie asked me if I wanted to go to her favourite place, and I said sure. And she grabbed my hand, and next thing we were overlooking some stables, and she said that's where they keep the horses, and and she rode horses in heaven. It was one of her things that she liked to do, and at that time I hadn't read any of the books by Kat Kerr, Revealing Heaven, Part 1 and Part 2. And so I had no idea that they had horses in heaven and little girls went and played on them, but now I'm aware of those things through Kat Kerr's books. So I was really happy, and she was about 14 years of age, and it was the sort of thing that, coming from the country, I knew young girls like to ride horses at that age when they're living in country towns, and so it was a tremendous thing for that girl to have. I was told by the Lord that all the children in the park were abortions, and that that every child that's aborted in the world at the moment, because they haven't been given a chance to accept Jesus as their Saviour, they're taken straight to heaven, and they're created, and they grow up as children, and Kat Kerr says they grow slowly in heaven, so that their parents, when their parents die, they'll be able to raise them as children in heaven, and so I'm pretty sure that's probably how it works, and so it was tremendous. The children were really nice, and they had some fun. I've got a friend, Yanni, who I've mentioned before, and one time he asked me while we were at McDonald's, when you're in heaven, did you see my son? And straight away I saw his son in heaven, and I described his son to him, and he filled up with tears, and he apparently his wife had an abortion, and he saw his son. Well, I saw his son, and Yanni was very happy that his son was up there and living okay. So I'll do a second chapter on more of the visions that I've experienced.